Hi, welcome to SBR Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. We are talking right now with Troy West from allplayswin.com. This is our daily NBA show. Today is Friday, April 10th. The regular season's winding down. We got 12 games tonight. Troy West, thanks for being back with us.
Hey, thanks a lot, Pete. I appreciate it. Yeah, the NBA, as I said all along, selectiveness is where it's at. It's crunch time as we get into the NBA playoffs. A lot of teams, a.k.a. tanking it, and a lot of teams stocks on the rise as well. So let's hope between the two of us, we can continue to find some winners.
You've had a good read on the NBA in our show so far. And the Spurs are unreal, right? They rolled Houston at home by double digits in their last game. That puts them at 12-1 against the spread over their last 13 and 18-4 ATS over the last 22. And the Spurs, we've seen this many times before under Popovich. When they get into machine mode where they're just rolling game in and game out at any point in the season or the playoffs, you kind of want to ride that train. And, it's been going for 13 games now. Tonight, they're a 3.5 or 4-point favorite on the road at Houston in the rematch. What's your take on that game, Troy?
Yeah, this would definitely be more of a lean, Pete, because I think this is the first game that they've really got their work cut out for them on the road in Houston. Houston obviously healthy in this one. But as you said, San Antonio took care of business just a couple of nights ago against Houston. But the whole factor of trying to beat the team twice in a few days, Pete, that really plays into effect for me here. Like you said, ride the train. It seems to definitely go with San Antonio, but this is a really tough matchup. Shocked to see them favored even by 4 right now in Houston. Houston's been really, really sharp at home, and this is kind of a chip on their shoulder type game after losing in San Antonio.
Yeah, this is a stay-away game for me. I just kind of wanted to. Such an interesting situation. I want to see what you had to say about it. And then also, maybe my strongest lean so far is Orlando as a home dog against Toronto. Orlando is out of the playoffs, and they're kind of in the spoiler role, and they're kind of responding well to it. They have 3 straight-up wins and covers. They're getting 6 points against Toronto, and Toronto, obviously a quality team, but they're, looking ahead to the playoffs clearly. And I'm just wondering if this might not be a good spot to take Toronto getting 6 points. I'm not exactly sure why the line is as big as it is. What's your take on that one, Troy?
Yeah, this looks like a pretty good spot for a home dog. 8-6 is quite a bit of points. Like you said, Toronto just been so inconsistent the second half of the season. Haven't really put together a nice winning streak and really haven't looked themselves. So, no, to me, this looks like a good home dog, Pete. Kyle Lowry, questionable tonight. I doubt he would play, but this looks like a pretty good spot for Orlando, the way they've been playing. And Toronto just so inconsistent. They've been a pretty decent fade here down the second half of the part of the season.
And then another game like the Spurs game, Atlanta not quite as hot as the Spurs ATS, but they are 6-2 against spread over their last 8, and Charlotte is clearly stumbling. And the question, as always, is how much will the Hawks rest their starters? But we saw what they did to Phoenix in their last game, and I'm thinking we might see the same thing. Similar result. Atlanta somewhere around 100, and Charlotte maybe somewhere around 70. And I kind of like the under on the overnight. Now it's down to 194.5 or 95 from 96. Right now Atlanta's minus 9.5, but if they're just going to roll again here, then maybe that'll be a good bet. Certainly betting against Charlotte is something that feels comfortable right now. What's your take on that line?
Yeah, with Al Jefferson out, Charlotte a very mediocre to below average team, Pete. Atlanta, as you said, we've talked about it a while now. They've been kind of that variable team where if you can get them with that starting lineup, been a really good bet. If they tend to go the other way, they seem to be a bad bet. Last time they played Charlotte was in Charlotte just over a week ago. They didn't play their starters, and they got pounded pretty good. So I think they could have a chip on their shoulder. I think 9.5 could be a good bet. I think Atlanta will come play tonight.
All right, Troy West, man, you are on top of all these games. And before we get to the picks, I just want to ask about Minnesota and the Lakers. It was 5.5 on the overnight line. Now it's down to 5. And from a certain perspective, this could be seen as a must-lose situation for the Lakers. From a draft perspective, both teams are pretty similar in the sense that they've got a lot of young guys that they're playing out. And I'm wondering if this game isn't more likely than not to just basically be close, basically be a coin flip. And if that's the case, Minnesota +5 might be a good bet. What do you think about that one, Troy?
Boy, an interesting game, Pete. Bad versus bad. Really bad versus really bad. One of my picks a couple of weeks ago was Minnesota at home against the Lakers, and Minnesota ended up losing that game in overtime. The Lakers, they've just been so inconsistent. I don't see Byron Scott as one of the coaches that's, intentionally going to lose a game or play the backups or even do anything remotely to get to that type of situation. But who knows? Stranger things have happened in the NBA. But really bad versus really bad is a pass for me, but this will be an interesting playoff tonight.
All right, Troy. Well, thanks so much for commenting on the interesting games tonight. We'll get to the picks in part 2 of this video, and tell us what allplayswin.com is all about. Are you having a successful season so far? Remind us.
We are, Pete. It's been outstanding. We actually had our first top MLB 25-unit release yesterday on the Boston Red Sox. That took care of business 6-2. So we're riding high in baseball so far, up over 30 units in baseball. And basketball has been great as well. We're very, very selective in the NBA, but it's paid off throughout the course. We're really excited for the NBA playoff. And baseball is going strong, and we know don't forget about hockey either, Pete. Come take a look at allplayswin.com.
All right, well, we'll be covering all that with you next week, Troy. But right now, let's get to a part 2 of today's call, the picks for tonight's NBA card.